Hey guys, welcome back to the chess.com bot rating climb. Today we're taking on the 700 ELO bots, and I'm going to start by attacking the pawn in the center here and developing. And let's go ahead this time and play an Italian game. So we'll play bishop to c4. And ooh, knight to d4. Interesting move here. I think the main trap is if you take this and you get greedy here, you actually can get into some trouble. But if I'm not mistaken, the simplest and easiest thing to do against this is to just trade and castle. So this is basically I'm using some opening knowledge to avoid a trap. Now, maybe it's more instructive actually if I just let's pretend I didn't know the trap. Let's pretend that I didn't know the trap, and I'm going to actually go for this. Let's see if she's going to do it. Okay, she doesn't do it. Well, I was hoping we were going to get to learn something there about that. Queen g5, you have to be really careful because if you just get greedy and you go for the fork, you totally abandon your king and your rook over here. The queen comes in and you can actually get checkmated or lose your queen. So you do have to be really, really careful. And I was hoping to show that to you guys, but unfortunately we just get what I think is a pretty bad move. And now the fork is actually probably very good. So I am just going to go ahead and take the fork. So, wow. Whew. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think 700s play better than this, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, we're gonna take the queen. And all right, so probably I'm gonna castle. I could also play d3 and defend my pawn. Both of those look really good. Yeah, maybe I'll go with d3 because it lets out the bishop and defends right away, and I could probably castle next move. Yeah, I don't know what they did to the 700 ELO bots, but this is like slightly embarrassing here. If I'm a 700 bot, I would be embarrassed. Seriously. All right. When you're so far ahead, all you have to do is trade some pieces and go to the end game. It's really easy. Like, let's not make it harder than it needs to be. I could trade this. You know what? I could even do this little tactic, right? Always, when you have a pin, if you can attack it with a pawn, you're going to win a piece. So how can I do that? Well, the bishop's in my way. Let me gain a tempo, and then next move, I push, and I'm good to go. So here we go. And there we go. I'm going to get a piece here. Not that I needed it, but why not? And I will save my bishop, so I'm just going to retreat. I could go here and attack this, but I like the kind of keeping the pressure here on this one, so I'm just going to go back. And h5, okay. Does it have a threat? Not really. So probably I want to develop. Maybe I can use my knight. I can't castle because the bishop, so I'm thinking we just develop the knight and then we castle this way. And seems like a fine plan. Okay, king d6. All right. So, going with the opportunity to force trades, I see that right away. I may as well do it, and we'll take this. Now, depending on where the king goes, yeah, I was going to say, I might actually start looking for checkmates here because my queen is now involved. And let's see, we can move this bishop anywhere we want. Let's just say I move it like here with the check, and the king takes. The queen can come up with check. Yeah, I don't see an immediate checkmate, so I will just go ahead and take the piece. If I saw a checkmate, of course, I would do that. But since I didn't see it, I'm just going to take everything, basically. All right, when you're hunting a king, you don't want to let it escape. So how do we do that? How do we prevent black's king from escaping if we're trying to get checkmate? If you had a chance to look at that, knight to f5 seems like the best move because we're controlling this, putting him in check. The bishop is helping us. The pawn is helping us. The bishop is helping us. Wait a second. It's almost checkmate. Look at this. Only a couple spaces for the king to go to, but the important thing is we force it from, we stop the black king from retreating. Okay, very dangerous when you have the discovered check. Let's see what maybe here is what I'm thinking, just to get out of the way and allow the queen to be involved. Why not? Let's just see where this leads. We also have the bishop, which we could use as well. Okay, we have a pawn. We have a queen. Let's start with a pawn. And yeah, let's see. This guy, the queen. Let's just go with a queen. I'm just looking for checks that kind of bring my pieces closer to the opponent's king. Let's go with another check. I think I see a checkmate here. I'm not mistaken. There is going to be en passant, but still, we're getting so close. We're getting so close. And if you guys would like to pause, I believe I see a checkmate. I say that, actually. It's all right. Here's what I was thinking. Bishop here, but it's actually technically not checkmate right away, but it's coming. It's coming very soon. Let's see. Let's go here. Yeah, there we go. Eesh. And there's the checkmate. Okay. So I mean, not a whole lot that we can learn from that, but you do want to be aware that there are opening traps, especially if you play e4. There are very dangerous opening traps that you do have to watch out for. This is one of them. Unfortunately, JanJay didn't know what was happening. But if we take this and the queen comes here, like I said, we take this, queen comes down, we have to save our rook, we move over here, the queen's going to come back with check, and if we try to block with the bishop, we get smothered checkmated. It's a nasty one. Blackburn shilling gambit. I've done that on the channel before. But anyway, let's keep going. Next spot. Aron, 700. Okay. Wasn't I just white? I'm white again. I thought I switched it to alternate. Anyway, I don't know. All right. We're going to stick with the same thing here. Attack the pawn. Ooh. All right. So what's the first thing you should think about if you see a move like f6? I think we've talked about this already. The diagonal. And the diagonal. And do you have an immediate tactic? In this case, we do. We can actually just take it. Because if Aron takes us back, we've got queen h5, and we've got a follow-up here, and it's just bad news. Okay, bishop b4. Does that really change my threat? Nope. I'm still going to do this because I still want to go after the king. So just trying to take advantage of the weaknesses. How do I take advantage of this? Well, yeah, we take it because there's a pin, right? There's a pin. So pretty straightforward. This is a good tactic to keep in mind if you've never seen this before, because if they ever move that f pawn, you want to be thinking about that. Okay, queen e7. What's the threat? Attacks my pawn. Do I have anything more powerful? I do. So rather than worry about this, I'm going to actually grab this guy with a check. Looks like it's going to force a queen trade, which is even better. I don't have to trade queens. I could grab another pawn. And they're both good. Probably Stockfish is going to tell me this is the best move. But in an effort to simplify and just take advantage of the fact that I just won all these pieces, the practical thing to make my life super easy is to trade queens, right? Because queens are very powerful. It's easy to blunder a checkmate or something if you leave the opponent's queen on the board. Once the queens are off, it's going to be very difficult to get checkmated when you're so far ahead. All right, so what am I going to do? My general response to a check like this is to block with the pawn. And the reason is because I gain a tempo, because now black has to move their bishop or lose the bishop, and I get to continue developing, and I basically save some time. So that's why I like to do that. And I don't know, let's just keep developing, right? And keep developing. And we're going to castle next. Okay, well, I'm not going to castle now because I see a free piece. Of course, you have these ideas in your mind of like, I'd like to develop, I'd like to castle, I'd like to do blah, blah, blah. But if your opponent gives you a free piece, you have to pause, right? You pause your plans, you take the free piece, and then you go back to your plan afterwards, right? Take the piece, go back to your plan afterwards. Probably going to go knight b4. No, he didn't. I was going to say that. Okay, so again, if I want to trade, this time it's like, yeah, I don't really want to activate the bishop here. And so I think I will just go ahead and castle. All right, let's see which pieces are not really doing much. These rooks, put it on an open file. Okay, trading is good. Also, it opens up the king, so I'm pretty happy about that. Let's go ahead, look at my rooks. Now they're very good. All right, and I think at this point I am going to go ahead and trade now that earlier I didn't want to activate the bishop because it would have prevented me from castling and was kind of annoying. Now, I'm already castled, my king is safe, I don't really care if the bishop's over there. And I wanted to infiltrate with my rook and the knight was in the way, and so I figured, hey, let's do it. So here we go, coming in with the rook. Okay, let's come in with the other rook. 2 rooks on the 7th. Usually very, very powerful. A lot of times you can either get checkmate or just gobble up some pawns. But I'm looking for checkmate here. So let's see. Definitely going to go here. And oh, yeah, of course. Here and here. Yeah, there it is. A lot of times you can't do this because the rook would be hanging. But in this case, it's defended. So we just have a simple checkmate. All right. And it just goes to show you, even as early as move 2, you can have tactics available if your opponent is playing weakening moves. So always be on the lookout because you never know when these are going to just pop up, right? All right, next bot. This is the last 700, Mina. And I guess we get white again. So, okay. We'll stick with the normal here. Let's play bishop c4 next. Ooh, queen f6. Yeah, so I think I'm going to just go with the same move. Not a good move, right? Because you're not developing. Maybe we can harass this queen later. But let's... Ooh. All right, so what do I like to do against this? I told you guys before. Yeah, we play c3. We just chase it away. This is a useful move for us because it lets our queen out. It helps support the center. And we do it for free, essentially, because black just wasted a move, right? Black spent 2 moves to move the bishop there instead of just 1. I got this for free, and now I'm going to use my other move to castle. And you can see how those little things can add up very quickly to where you have a huge lead in development. All right, so it's a free pawn. Question is, which way do we want to take it? It does let out the bishop, so I do want to think about, all right, maybe the bishop's going to go to g4 here and pin my knight. So, all right, let me think about that. With that in mind, I think I will take with the bishop. Then I have this threat. Now, of course, c6 could happen, but that's fine. I could come back and maybe even over here if I need to. So I think all that being thought about, I'll take with the bishop. Okay, blocks the bishop, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. And usually you want to play d4 at some point just to get more control over the center and let out your pieces. And now looks like the time to do it. I don't see anything else. I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to take this. I'm already castled. What else am I going to play? Maybe you could argue something like queen b3, but that doesn't look that powerful. This is already defended. So with all that being said, let's play d4. c6. Okay, I think I want to save my bishop, but I am want to just check. Does it make sense to capture here first and maybe take? And probably not. So let's think about this. Where do I want to go to? The advantage here is that if I, for some reason, need to later, deal with a pin, I could come back to e2. I don't know how likely that's going to be. The advantage here, my bishop is already defended, so I don't have to worry about that. If it's on c4, it's loose or it's a hanging piece, so it could get attacked, for example, maybe 6 or something like that. I like on b3, it does block my queen, but I don't think I really want to go there with my queen anyway. It doesn't do much, so probably bishop to b3 makes the most sense. Okay. So what are we going to do now? I mean, developing and attacking a queen at the same time, that's got to be at the top of my list of options. Other things would be bringing the rook to the center because the king is still there. If I could figure out a way to clear some of these pawns, that could be very powerful. Probably not as good as the immediate bishop g5. Taking, let's see, we could consider doing something like that and then throwing these pawns forward. That also looks decent. Even pushing this guy forward looks pretty annoying. Like this pawn could... So lots of good moves. I'm just going to go with the developing one. When in doubt, develop a piece. That's kind of my motto. Okay, what's the attack? Honestly, I'm not worried about that pawn at all. If black takes that, I would be happy because then my rook can go and get the king. I am going to think about this, right? Because if h6 happens and I have to move my bishop, maybe, I don't know, in some universe in the future, this happens. The knight has to move. Probably not a huge deal. Let's see. Developing, I could just go here and defend. Like I said, I'm not really worried about black taking it. What about this pawn? Actually, I could take the pawn here. It's a free pawn. Oh, no, my bishop would be hanging. Don't want to do that. So, all right, yeah, with all that in mind, let's just keep developing. Don't really see a reason to not play this. a6. Oof. Okay, so I don't like that my bishop is just sitting there under attack because I want to move my knight, maybe grab this pawn or something. Actually, I could just take with the pawn because if this happens, then this, then I would have a nice little fork. If the bishop comes here, I would have queen f3, takes, and I'm still going to get the rook. Yeah, it looks good. So let's go ahead and do that, actually, now that I think through that. Okay. So can we use this pawn to open up the king? Takes. The queen is still there defending. Still looks pretty good, though. I could try to jump over here, but then my bishop is hanging. Interesting position. Kind of a weird position. Yeah, I feel like I should just move my bishop just so it's not being attacked. Let's do that. And maybe I just come back here. Generally, I don't like to leave pieces that are just vulnerable long-term because it opens up tactics for your opponent, right? So now my bishop is safe. I don't have to worry about it. I can basically do whatever I want and not have to kind of stress. So I want to get more pieces towards the king. How do I do that? Well, I'm thinking we go here because I'm going to jump in here and it lets my queen in. I'm also thinking I could go here and attack this. And then after knight h6, boom, with e6. Ooh, that looks really good too. So I have 2 very powerful moves that I would like to play. This one does allow knight takes e5. But then we have f4. The knight has to move and then we snag this. Yeah, although it allows a bishop check. Not a huge deal. I just sidestep. I think I'm okay there. I'm going to get the rook. I mean, the Yeah, they're trapping the rook there at the end of that. So yeah, knight g5 probably is better, but this one also looks really good. But let's go with knight g5. So here's the immediate threat, and I'm anticipating knight h6 or knight takes e5. Okay. Mina doesn't know what's going on, so let's go ahead and take with the bishop. I want to force the trade here and just go ahead and win the queen right away. There we go. Okay. I have a fork, but I don't have anything defending it. It does lure the king out, though, which actually... Ooh, and then I could follow up. Yeah, I have a nice follow-up. What do you guys think the follow-up should be? If I play e6 and the king takes, what should my follow-up move be? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, it should be queen b3. Because remember, when you're hunting a king, you don't want to allow it to escape. So queen b3, look at this. I'm cutting off the escape routes. And this is very dangerous. Now, the question is, bishop g3 would stop it from running here, but it would allow king to e7. I also have knight here, followed by bishop g3, which also looks pretty good. Interesting. So, I mean, there's even this move, and the reason I might go there is because it totally keeps the king stuck, at least for another move or two. Then knight c4 is almost checkmate. Ooh. So, yeah, with the idea in mind of preventing the king from escaping, I think I am actually going to go here. And I'm threatening knight c4. And that doesn't help black's cause, right? So, yeah, knight to c4 or even e5 look pretty good. No, e5, then it would allow the knight to capture. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with... I could even bring the rook first and save that for a double check. Yeah, let's just go. I just want to see where the king's going to go. There's only a couple of options. He walks into, or she walks into the discovered check here. I mean, of course, we can grab a rook, which is really good. But do I have checkmate? I don't see a checkmate, so I'll just, I guess, take this. Hold on now. So yeah, f4. No. Okay, f4's got to be a move here that we play. Right. And how do we get to the king? Remember, I don't want to let the king escape. So which move should I probably play? I have one in mind. Which move should I probably play? Actually, there's two moves. So number one would be queen c2 because it stops the escape route. Number two would be queen e6. Same thing, stops the escape route. So both of those look really good. And honestly, I think they both lead to checkmate. So I'll just do this one. And then here we go. So nice little king hunt there. And hopefully you guys noticed the importance of not allowing the king to escape, right? Because I could have played, I don't know, just a different move, and then the king can just kind of run away, and it's much more difficult to checkmate. But by going here, I stopped that. Then by going here, I stopped that. And then we just kept attacking, and there we go. So, all right, 700 ELO bots are defeated. Next time we'll pick it up with, I think, 850? Yeah, the 850 bots. See you guys then. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, play smart, and take care.